Jai Gurudev, everybody, welcome. So, yesterday, in one of the questions, they wanted to have the darshan of Giridhariji. So, I brought him today. So, Jai Giridhar Gopal. So, today is also the World Earth Day. And you see, as you notice that the world is going for a nice period, the earth is rejuvenating herself. And of course, you see, for those which is centered into the positiveness, they treasure this time really, and also what they can give, because during this time you are going deeper and deeper within yourself. You're opening certain spheres inside of you which you didn't even know about. Many people didn't know that they can sit at home whole day, or they can do things, because very often the world of people have become so much dependent upon the outside reality. But now, during this time, it have changed completely, reverse way. So it is the time where you have turned inwardly, and through what you have received inside of you, which is awakening inside of you, that the transformation and the change is happening. So this day, which people are celebrating, I don't know, everybody is celebrating in their own way, the World Earth Day. We have to be grateful, really, to be here, in this world itself, during this time, and also be grateful for you have this time, that you can enjoy with your family, with your dear one. And often many people have said during this time they have become even more closer to the people. It is through this connection, that we very often, before we used to take it for granted, now we treasure it. When you can't go and visit somebody, now you realize the greatness of that time itself, which you were going there. I see also being here in the ashram, I put Giridhari there in case he fall down. So he will inspire and protect the earth. So in the ashram itself, see, very often people say, okay, fine, we have the money, we can just take the plane and go. Now there's no plane even to come. So this is a time where we treasure that moment which you used to have, and also later on when it come back to normality, remember this time. But everything can change. Nothing is in your hand. You're talking about your life isn't in your hand. No, a fraction of a second your life can depart from you. So nothing really is in your control. And nothing is even in their control, because there's other people who think that they are controlling everything. No, nothing is in their control also. Everything is in His control. And lucky are those who really understand that, that everything that you do in your life, it is through His grace. Without Him allowing that, nothing will happen. So I ask Jagopal to ask a question now.
Dear Guruji, the hand of my Gayatri Murti is broken.
Yeah.
I have heard that it is not allowed to worship broken deities, but can I repair her and continue worshipping?
Look, according to the tradition, they said that when a deity is broken, you can't carry on the worship. But I'm asking to everyone, if the deity what you have been worship is so dear to you. Okay, tomorrow something happened to Giridhariji. That for so many years nothing have happened. Do you think I would just tell, stop worshipping him? No. I will carry on worshipping. Because this is my connection to him. When you have a certain connection to your deity become, it's not just a deity, it's not a statue. Which today you have one, tomorrow you don't like this one, you put another one. It's not like changing clothes. Because you have built a relationship with that deity become everything for you. So even if it is broken, just repair it and carry on your worship. You see, if your mother break her arm, okay, would you throw her away? I guess not. You will bring her to the hospital, you will get her repair, then she will still be there. Imagine, your mother broke her arm and then said, okay, fine, mother, I'm going to get another mother now. You are broken. So you should be very careful. So imagine this happened to you. What will happen? So then you have to be careful that your children don't throw you out of the house. So like that, you see. There is certain, when people have not understand that relationship between the beloved and the lover. When people have not understand what is the deepness relationship that one have with the divine, it's not really the deity on the outside. The deity on the outside is just a representative of your relationship with the Supreme, which is everywhere. When that reminder is there, of course, you see, you just repair the deity and carry on your worship. It don't change anything. But those who are ignorant, in ignorance, they don't realize that, because for them, they see only the outside material things. For them, it's just you see, if you treat it as just a piece of. If your deity is made up of marble, you treat it just as, the deity is broken, it's just a piece of marble have broken, so I take it and put it away. Very often you see that, in many places you heard about that also. But if you have this loving relationship, how can, you just repair and carry on your worship. So.
Guruji, my girlfriend is afraid of things like my fork touching her plate and even sharing a bag of chips together.
Huh?
His girlfriend is afraid of things like his fork touching her plate or sharing a bag of chips.
Oh, touching the plate, okay.
Yeah. Is the karmic transfer of energy really that powerful if we have a loving God and a living Guru?
Firstly, I would ask you, do you sleep together? I guess, do you touch your girlfriend? So how, if you're scared about for a fork or eating chips in the same bag of chips will create deep karma between you two, then you should start thinking about your relationship, because if such person is thinking in that way, and I don't know how do you share your relationship, it's not my business anyway. So just to make it clear, you are sleeping together, you are doing things together, and why not eating a chips also together? No. So I don't think because either you are so attached to the chips, or to the fork or to the plate, that will create karma. You see, we have to understand what creates karma is our mindset. You see, how our mind is fixated upon things, then we create karma upon that. If we are attached to things and we can't be free from that, like for example, you're attached to the karma. So what happened? So everything that you do, you get so much fear inside of you. And of course, you have to be watchful about certain things. But if you're together, you're sharing your life together, I guess. So I don't think that one have to become paranoid about that, because you are, both of you are on the spiritual path. So, which means you are surrendering to the lotus feet of the Lord Himself, no? So your mindset already is of a devotee. Like Krishna said, my devotee, come to me. Those who surrender to me, come to me. So that is your aim for both of you. So if that is the aim for both of you, you are helping each another to transcend the old karma. So it's not about being paranoia about these things, It's about being in observance, of things. So when you are in observance of things, of course you are not inviting outsiders. When these kind of things is done, done when there is non-devotee, of course it's a different matter. Then you have to be careful. Then you should not engage yourself. If somebody is not devotee and you are sitting and eating together with them, somebody which is not spiritual, you are entertaining their fantasies and you are entertaining their desires, of course then it becomes difficult. Of course then you are creating karma. So, but when you are living together, and you are both devotee, even if one is devotee, one is not devotee, but yet you are there, one is have that awareness, there's no karma being created because you're not attached to that. That potato chips is finished once you have eaten it. What happened then? At the beginning you have great love for it, and then when the potato is finished, it's finished. And the lightness has disappeared from that. So you can eat your chips and you can touch the fork of your girlfriend is not a big deal because you're together for a reason, no?
Jai Gurudev, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 43, Krishna says, slay the enemy in the form of desire. In the Uddhava Gita, he says, don't suppress the desire, it should be granted. The desire should be exhausted and not suppressed. Could you please give us your view about this?
Repeat again, please.
So,
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3.
343, he says, slay the enemy in the form of desire.
Yeah,
But
so get
Gita,
rid of the desire.
yes, but in the Uddhava Gita, he says, don't suppress the desire, it should be granted. The desire should be exhausted and not suppressed.
Yes, it's the same thing. You see, Bhagavan Krishna is explaining it in a different way right now. You can see. First he said, slay the desire. Then they said, don't suppress it. How would you get rid of a desire if you suppress it? So both is saying, here in chapter 3, he's saying, you have to get rid of all desire. And in Uddhava Gita, he's explaining how to do it. And how to do it is not to run away from it, but to go through it and to transcend it. And going through it and transcending it, that means that you have to engage yourself into it. Because when you engage yourself into such desire, of course it creates attachment. And when it creates attachment, you will never be able to awake that loving relationship with Him. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 29, he said, none is dear, all is dear to me, I don't have any hate or dearness, I'm equal to both, I don't have any hateful or dearness, but those which is in loving service towards me, they are in me, I am in them. It is so beautiful, because you see, the object of one desire, what it is attachment to certain things. I desire some things. When I get it, how long I will be happy with it? Not too long. So an object of the desire is finite. It will not give you everlasting happiness. It will not give you that devotion which is required inside of you. So if you become like that, what will happen? You're stuck. And when you get stuck, you can't be free. So here Bhagavan said, in chapter 9, and he explained that those mind which is full of desire, even if I'm seated inside both, I'm seated inside those who doesn't have desire and those who have desire, I'm eternally the essence of everything. So I'm seated within equally, whether one have desire or not. So, but to attain me, one have to purify it. To be purified, one have to be cleansed. Because if one is not cleansed, how would one feel him? How would one attain him? Impossible. So that cleansing process itself, those which is engaged in loving service towards me, I reside in them, and they reside in me. So that cleansing process reveals a different reality in itself, that relationship that one have to the Supreme itself. So when the transformation happened, desire disappeared, desire transformed. So yesterday I was saying that the mind gets transformed into divine, that intellect gets transformed into divine, and the senses itself get transformed into divine. So when this happens, then one becomes a real devotee, which is transcending everything, because the sole aim, the desire, can be also desire for him. Desire doesn't mean only it is material. Desire can be also turned towards a supreme goal itself. So then you can really transform yourself. Then you have the single-pointed mind as devotion. In Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna said, Canto 11, chapter 14, verse 21, he said that those who are in devotion, those who have the single-pointed mind of devotion towards me, they are the one who can purify everything, because they have purified themselves, they have transformed themselves, they have changed, So they become an object of purification. Their heart have been purified. So they don't even purify, they can purify even those which is not pure itself. But those which is so much focused upon their desire of the outside to fulfill them, has to engage into the external desire, material desire, and so on. They are trapped into a certain reality which is very difficult to transcend. So that's why Bhagavan said, I am in all beings the same. But I'm equally, I don't have any hateful towards anyone. I don't have any dearness to anyone. I'm the essence, one which is residing inside. I'm the same. But those which is in loving service towards me, they get purified, they get transformed, they get changed, they become divine. So due to that transformation of becoming divine, there is a different reality that they go through. But that transformation of being divine is not just like that. In Bhagavatam itself, it carry on, chapter 11, Canto 11, chapter 14, verse 23, 24, he said, those who surrender to me, what is happening in them? Their hand stand, if the hand doesn't, the hairs on their body stand. If their hairs don't stand, how would their heart be melted? So if their heart is not melted, how would tears flow through the eyes? If tears of spiritual tears don't flow through the eyes, how would they render service upon to me, to the Supreme Lord? But if they can't render service to the Supreme Lord, how would their life, their consciousness, their soul be purified? It can't be. It's only through that process. So to attain to that process itself, you have to get rid of vain desires of the outside. So then he said, it carry on, 24, he said, the devotees with voice which is choking, with their heart melted, with devotion and love, So they sing, they laugh, they dance, they appeared insane sometime, but they render service up to me. They purified the whole universe. Such devotee, those which is completely free from all external desire, they are free from everything. So when we see, what desire do, let's say, when we take your question itself, what Bhagavan Krishna said to Uddhava, you have to go through that. Because you see, when you suppress yourself, you can't transform. That transformation, he said in the Bhagavad itself, what is a transformation? One goes through. And for that to happen, you have to let go of that old reality, If you don't let go of that old reality, which means go through it, transform it, then you will still be the same self. So being the same old self how you were, you can't attain him. You can't find him inside of you. Yes, it will stay only as just an idea, which somebody have talked about. But yet you will not feel it. But when you see a devotee already, it is beautiful. The devotee can sit there, sitting and even looking at the Guru and looking at I've seen, the devotee, how they are, They just sit there and just tears just flow from their eyes. Last year I went to Portugal, gave them a surprise visit, and it was amazing, I tell you. Just to, we were on the phone, Swami Aniruddha, we orchestrated it, and we were on the phone with Swami Aniruddha, and then the devotee said, oh yeah, come. Of course, they were facing the other side, and I came from behind, and that joy that the devotee have, no one can really understand that, and this is the beauty of being a devotee, and you can see those who really understand what the Guru have been teaching them, it's not just a vain being happy, because there's many teachers in this world. Here I'm not using the word Guru because they are just teachers. Of course, they teach people to be happy, they monitor you, just have a happy life. But you see, true happiness is not in things. That's what Krishna said, you see. Go through this desire, what you see the different, but first you have to know about, So when you know about, you can really know what is right and what is wrong. It's not in a point of judgment, it's knowing truly what is true happiness. When you engaging yourself, what will the outcome of that engagement be? So in that context, he said to Uddhava, one must go through that, because suppressing it, you will never be able to let go of it. You will never be able to transform it, But when you truly understand what you are here for and what is your aim really, then you will attain to true happiness. Otherwise, you will just run towards misery. Because you see, these desires, they disguise themselves as something that you're really in need of it. Nowadays, you can see, let's say some months back, people were thinking, yes, we can't, we have to go outside and eat outside. Because it is a must, you see, because in this world, people say this is has a social things, we have to fulfill the social things, and now you see everybody is sitting at home and eating at home. So you thought that you could not live with your family, and now you see that you can live with your family. But like that, there are so many things that you thought that you could not do, and now you are doing it. So this is what that Bhagavan Krishna is saying to Uddhava. Don't put your own limitation upon things. You are more than that. You are that eternal Atma which is inside of you. And that eternal Atma is free. That Atma which is seated inside of you that is not attached to anything. It's not attached to the good or to the bad. What is attaching is this mind. So unless you transform that mind and make that mind detach from the outside reality, make that mind detach from things which is limited, make that mind transform into divine, you will never be free. So this is a process of it. When you go through that process of it, then you become a devotee. Then your heart is melted with love and devotion. So through that you can attain Giridhariji, and he revealed himself.
Jai Gurudev Guruji, I watched the film about Srila Prabhupada and was amazed at 70-year-old man's steel, willpower and unflinching faith. I'm half his age and definitely don't have this energy. How do we cultivate this willpower and spiritual strength on the path?
Look, Prabhupada, when his guru have told him, it took him many years to cultivate that strength. At the beginning, he didn't straight away fulfill it. He wanted to live his family life. He had his job as a chemist, and first he lived this kind of life. Once this life was finished, was over, there was an instance that they said that his wife was the cause of him depart from India, and said, it's time now to do what my guru have asked. But the guru have asked 30 years before that itself, to do this. But do you think he have ever forget about what his guru have asked him? No. For sure, every day in his mind, there were the word and the voice of his guru. Go into the world and bring the message of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita to the world. So having that anchored inside of your mind itself, day and night, knowing that my Guru Maharaj have asked me that become the strength itself. So when you are clear about what you want to achieve, when you are clear about your path itself, when you're clear about what you want to do, what your Guru Maharaj have asked you to do, it is not about age, it's not about time, it's about it will be, somehow one day, very often people want to do things very quickly, but everything has its own time to do. And when you're patient, of course, when the right time comes for you to do why you have come here to do, your Swadharma itself, So then everything takes space and everything come and really push you forward. But you have to be clear. You have, throughout that, you have to make yourself ready. I'm sure Srila Prabhupada didn't sit down there and sit idly and say, oh yeah, when the time comes, I will do it, No, he was working every day for that. I think when you have seen the movie itself, it shows that he was eager to finish the free books of the Bhagavatam, the free canto, first free canto of Bhagavad, and he translated it into English. So I don't think it's an easy job, and of course, for sure, that have taken many years. Yeah. So his mind was on that, but one day I will do what my Guru Maharaj have said to me. And his Guru Maharaj have said to him, go to the West and bring Krishna to them. So bring the teaching to them. So that was his sole aim, his dharma itself, And of course, when you are clear about that, you will have that inner strength inside of you. So when you're clear, you have full power to it, because you have this love to do it. And like I said always, when you love to do something, there is no time to get thirsty, or there's no time to be tired. You will just do it. So even time will pass by, it will go, you will not even be aware of it itself, how time have gone. 1 minute you sit down, you're so engrossed into what you're doing, the next time you realize that so much time have passed in between. But you didn't feel tired, you didn't feel hungry, you didn't feel sleepy, nothing. Because there is an inner strength inside which awakes itself. So I'm sure in him also there was this great power inside of him. And he was clear about it. Like when he went there, he didn't have anything. He was renting a small studio and he was sitting there. And he didn't lose courage. This is one thing which I see, in spite at the beginning it was very difficult. But he didn't lose courage into that. Very often he tried. He wanted to return back to, to India, but Krishna have a different plan. Today somebody sent me a picture, of somebody cycling, and it was a straight road, and it's written, this is what your plan, you want things to go smoothly and straight line. And down was Krishna's plan, up and down, and down. Yeah, see, that's why it is said, beware of a road which is paved with flowers, because it will not bring you anywhere. But a road which is paved with hardship, thorns, it will make you become who you are, and you will attain your aim very easily and very strongly, because in that aim he will guide you, he will stand by you. So like that, courage also awake inside of someone which is clear about. Otherwise doubt will take place. Then you will be thrown in a corner, you will become lazy, you will become, okay, yes, I have time, I will do it. Like I said, nowadays you can't say you have time, because you don't know what is tomorrow. So, and when you don't know what is tomorrow, it's best to do it now. Whatever you have the courage, and if you're clear about it, when you centered yourself upon that, everything will take its place where they have to be, and you will be guided also. So, Jai Gurudev.